Hi, y'all. Welcome to episode 3 of Coast to Coast. We are back and better than ever. I'm here with my favorite co-host, Matt Engel. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you doing? You look like you had a good night.
He's telling me I look ugly right now. Last night was just supposed to be a casual wine Wednesday with the girls. It ended up being a longer night than I expected, and Matt made me wake up at 6:30 a.m. to record this podcast. So I am hanging in there. My energy might be a little bit down, but other than that, I'm hanging in there. We ball. We're fine.
That's my life. Just a constant cycle of hanging in there. Right?
Literally.
That's the greatest phrase to describe your mid-20s. Like you're not 30 yet, but you're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Like you're not old enough to start drinking scotch in the morning. But
No,
you're
in the
old enough to
morning.
just
How many people do you know that drink scotch in the morning?
I don't, but I'm saying scotch and like those are drinks for like people who've like given up. You know what I mean? Like
We're not there yet.
like no, we're not there yet, but we're hanging in there. We're hanging by a thread.
We're hanging in there.
That was no, she doesn't know this, but that was one of my show name ideas, hanging by a thread.
Oh, really? You didn't tell me that. That would have been a good idea.
I didn't tell you that because I'm lying. I just made that up. That just came to my head.
Oh my God. We're 2 minutes into the podcast. He's already lying. We're going to start early with a new segment, my new favorite segment, talking about Matt's love life, because, that's what the people want to hear. So, Matt, any updates on the front?
One, I want to make this segment known that I came up with this idea, and Megan was so upset that she actually loved it. And it pains her to compliment me. This is a segment we're going to call Coast to Ghost, and it is only going to focus on me because Megan's like happily in a relationship. Like she's white picket fence. She's perfect. And then there's me. There's a cyclical cartoon episode of just candidates coming in and out doors. Who's behind door number 1, 2, or 3? And you know what? That makes me really sound like I'm a player. Like, no, I'm not. I'm in my house 8 days a week.
You live with your parents still, so I don't know what kind of door.
I have no motion. I have no motion. I'm motionless.
Okay.
Everything's good. I'm 25. I don't have anyone steady. There's a couple options. There's some options.
For someone who's wearing a shirt that says "I find human contact repulsive," I think
this
that
shirt
makes
has gotten
so much sense.
This shirt has got me free cover at bars, by the way.
0 women wearing that shirt, probably. How?
Women
The bouncers really saw that shirt and said, "Please come in here. We want you to interact with other people."
They're like, the people there are working. They don't want to deal with people either. They're just like me. All right, that's enough about that though. So it's in flux. It's fluid. Ask me next week. We'll see what happens next week.
There we go.
There's some opportunities going. Yeah, but let's talk about some sports. We got some basketball you want to cover, right?
Yeah. I think we should take it all the way back to Game 7. Do you feel emotionally ready to talk about Knicks Pacers Game 7? Just a little bit of a recap on that, even though that was a while ago.
I'm fine. Yeah.
I don't think I heard from you for it was a good 10 minutes, which is shocking. Like, that's a long time to not hear from you. Like, that's how down bad this man was.
Look, this is not what's going to count as Matt's Minute, by the way. I have something planned for that big at the end of the show.
Already.
Because I'm going in on something.
Stay tuned, people. You heard it here. You got to stay to the end of the episode.
Look, I'm not that emotional really about the Knicks anymore. I am really curious to see how they structure the roster this offseason, because there's so much stuff coming out not coming out, but there's a lot of hypotheticals regarding whether they completely maybe turn over half of the roster and get that big star that they talk about every summer now for the last 12 years. That never happens. Unless you're Jalen Brunson, obviously. But I mean, when that happened, it wasn't like, oh my God, they got Jalen. Everyone was making fun of it. Why are radio hosts criticizing fans for being happy about where basically a 4-man rotation ended up in the playoffs?
Yeah, no,
that Knicks team that was playing like games 5, 6, and 7. Brunson was already hurt. He's playing on 1 foot. I really am surprised he didn't undergo a surprise surgery. I was like fully expecting as soon as the season ended, some like Jalen Brunson has a torn plantar fascia, and he has to undergo surgery. Like, I was really expecting that. OG Anunoby with like 1 toe.
Mm-hmm.
He came in to give him 4 minutes and
4
was running
minutes.
around. He was running around like
He was not even running. Oh my gosh, he was
he
not even
had
running.
poop in his diaper. He had a loaded
Literally.
diaper.
Nah,
He
man
was
looked like
like,
he was in so much pain.
I really commend they tranked him up. They must have
Mhm.
given him so much medicine. He
They
mu he must have been
shot him up with so
seeing
much Lidocaine,
sounds.
I swear. He
Seeing
didn't
sound.
even know what was going on.
Yeah, nah. Could you imagine being in
He
Madison
was so
Square
high
Garden
on
on
the
that
court.
yeah, he actually had no idea there was actually a game being played.
No, he thought it was practice.
And he made
He's
2
like, "What is
miracle
Tyrese
shots.
Halliburton doing here?" There you go.
But, look, I'm not emotional, I'm not angry about it anymore. I'm over it.
Good.
Um, I am secretly rooting, not so secretly, for Boston, even as a Knicks fan over Indiana, because Tyrese Halliburton talking shit up 20. I've never been so infuriated at TV. Like I mean, I have been mad, but every time he would smile and laugh and like say some snide remark to a Knicks player, like shut up, shut up.
What's
Good
nuts is after
God.
the game too, in the post-game presser, he literally said that they're just there to have fun and that they're not supposed to be here, and so we're just gonna have a good time and we're just it's totally
You literally okay. The Pacers hired a championship winning coach in Rick Carlisle. You have a pretty deep roster that, for whatever reason, doesn't play defense. But like,
Mhm,
I've always been a Miles Turner support. Like, a lot of people
mhm.
say he's not there. Like, Miles Turner's good.
Dude, he went
Miles
off in
Turner's a
game
very good
1. Yeah. He had 18 points in
Miles
the
Turner.
first half in game 1, I think, against Boston, and what I think is also super interesting is the fact that the Pacers came off of one of the best shooting halves of all time.
Oh
I
my
think they
God!
shot,
Please
like
don't get me started. They shot better than half of my grades. They
which
got a
is
higher C than two of my
nuts,
classes.
which is nuts. Dude, 76% from the
Yeah, that
field?
doesn't happen against a regular Knicks team. It doesn't happen.
No. No. Which
The
is
Knicks were
wild.
playing
All of their
basically.
shots were
Yeah,
falling.
I oh my God, I couldn't. You have no. I really wish. Okay, next week for review. I think I'm gonna start having to record some live reactions during sporting events that we
You
can embed into the
1000%
show,
should.
like during Mets games and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Would you guys like that? Like, 'cause I know some of my
Comment.
followers
Comment below
go
if you wanna see that.
crazy when I lose it.
Eventually, we're
So
gonna
yeah,
hit live
I'll do that
streams
for you.
too. That's in the
I'll do
future,
that for you.
though.
I've always
Mhm,
wanted to live stream like Mets games, but now that there's 6
mhm.
games under 500, I have no emotion attached to it. Like they
The
gotta
fact
wake
that the
up.
Pa look,
I
I
shouldn't have.
rep my Padres shirt today just because they, have more wins than the Mets, and I think that's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, we're not talking baseball today. Let's go back let's talk about Boston Pacers game 1. Did you catch that whole game? Because, if I were to guess how
Yes,
that would go, overtime is most definitely not what I would have predicted.
I actually felt this coming. Boston
You
is one
did.
of those teams to yeah, Boston is one of those teams to me that is otherworldly talent. Like, look, their roster is unbelievable, right?
Mhm.
Um, they're they should really they should have gone 16-0 in the postseason, but there was or at least 12-0 in the East. I mean, they are the type of team to me that plays to the level of their competition. Um, Part of that has to deal with I had some keys to that series. If you want me to get into that now, or you want me to
No,
shelve
yeah.
that?
No, go into it.
Uh, that gets me into coaching. I think Rick Carlisle is. I've always liked Rick Carlisle. I think he's a very good coach. I'm not sold on Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla. I don't hate him as much as other people do. A lot of people are like out on it, like they think he's like not gonna like. If Brad Stevens sees something in you, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna argue with it. You know what I mean? Uh, he's really cerebral. Like he's really smart. I can tell that. It's just like some sometimes he just lets stuff play out and he should call timeouts or doesn't make adjustments and stuff like that. You know, and then that's coaching, obviously, and we get play to the level of their competition. Why are you in dogfights with the Cavaliers with no Donovan Mitchell, and you have literally Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown? Like, forget no Kristaps Porzingis. When you didn't need Kristaps anywhere in the offseason, you were still the finals favorite. Like what are you doing? So they're in a dogfight with Indiana, and I saw this coming from a mile away because the Pacers, like you said, are playing fun, and the Celtics look like they're playing with expectations. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And I feel like they do that to themselves because of the mentality that Jason Tatum swears he carries. like the Kobe Mamba mentality, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you have the Mamba mentality and you sit in the corner for some games? Like, I'm not saying he didn't do that this game. Like he showed up. Uh, but I see too many times when Jason Tatum relegates himself to a role player. Um, and that can happen. Like if other guys are hot, like when you play on a roster like that, that's going to happen naturally sometimes. But I feel like he does it to himself too much for someone of his caliber.
Mhm.
And Jalen Brown, don't get me started. He can't dribble with his left hand. He made a miracle shot. You didn't see it. You said you didn't watch it.
No, I did. I watched that whole
Oh,
game. No,
okay. All
I
right,
wanted
yeah.
to ask you, like, do you think Siakam should have fouled it? Like, was that the right choice to not foul on that point? Just a
I
lucky
don't know.
shot? I mean,
That's why I'm
yeah,
not a coach. I'm not going to make that call. I also don't remember all the situations that were happening. So
it was unlucky. Unlucky. I mean, that's
yeah,
what really killed them in the end of the game was just turnovers. I think
I
in overtime, the Celtics scored like 7 points off of 3 turnovers from the
yeah.
Pacers, and
Look,
they had that game locked down. If they're gonna take a game, they needed to get that one,
who, Indiana or Boston?
Indiana.
Oh no, if they could have stole game one, they could. I mean, that
Mhm.
could have been crazy, right?
Mhm.
Steal home
Yeah.
court at that point, and then you act
100%.
like start feeling yourself like wow, we actually have a chance. But no, another one of my keys was that Tatum Siakam matchup. And I saw Siakam doing what he did to the Knicks. They give him that free throw jumper that is just automatic. Stands Halliburton. Like Halliburton's gonna assist Hunt, do whatever he wants, right? And that's another talking point. He assist Hunts. He Huh,
I'm
don't
pretty
get
sure
me
he led the
started.
league in assists,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
because he gives up open shots to get assists. He
Mhm.
wants assists.
Mhm. Mhm.
The hee hee. You know
You
what I'm talking
hate
about?
that man. You hate
I
that man. I
I
can feel
hate
it.
this,
I can
and it's
feel it
crazy because
from
I used to really
across the country.
I really argued for him against Knicks fans. I said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, Halliburton's really good." Like Knicks fans hate. I understand. I apologized to a bunch of my Knicks fan friends. I'm like, I see it now. Like I can't do it with this dude.
Trust the
Like,
amount of
good
Halliburton
God.
discourse that I get for being a Kings fan, like, "Oh, do you think the trade was
He
worth it?"
is
And
he's such a coupon. He's fool's gold. He is absolute fool's gold. And he made the Olympic. Go play in the Olympics. I don't care. Go get
I
your sister.
digress.
Anyway, those are my rambling keys to that series. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, going back to your point about Jason Tatum kind of turning himself into a role player, that man last series had the most points throughout the series, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. The only other person to do that out of both teams in the entire series was LeBron, I think in 2016 against the Warriors.
Tatum.
So this man, Tatum, yeah, this man has the capability to be a great player. And I think the reason he gets so much critique too is because of these expectations that he has surrounding him. And then he's so hit or miss that it's very frustrating. And I think if they're going to, or they're going to pull out this series, right? Like they're gonna pull out this series. I'd be shocked
They'll
if
win
they
the
don't.
series. Yeah, but
They'll win the series,
I
yeah.
like he led in all the box score categories.
Mhm.
It's just like watching sometimes it just looks like he vanishes. Like, does that make sense to you?
100%. Oh,
Like,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
because I don't want it to I'm watching the game and like he stuffs the stat sheet 90% of the time, but it's just like I'm watching and sometimes like I just forget he's on the floor.
That's enough. Alrighty. Okay. Let's move. So because I was out and about on the town last night, unfortunately did not get to catch the whole Wolves game yesterday. I caught the first quarter. So, Matt, would you like to give us a little bit of a rundown of what happened last night between the Mavs and the Wolves in game one?
Okay, so we have the Western Conference Finals game one last night. You're out partying,
hmm
laying in bed.
Wasn't partying. I was casually sipping wine. There's a
No, she was
difference.
having a wine Wednesday with the
I was having a wine
girls,
Wednesday with the
right?
girls. Yeah, wine Wednesday
And
with
I
the
said,
girls.
quick note. I said, Megan, FaceTime me with your friends. I want to say hi to everyone because they've all been so supportive of the show. And this girl just goes, no, like absolutely not. You're not coming. I'm not bringing you up once. She did
I
bring
go
me
on
up,
D
but
and
she
D
didn't
when I'm with the
FaceTime me.
girls. No, I
She
didn't.
wasn't on
I
D
go
and
on
D at
D
all.
and
By the
D.
way, I texted her like 4 times. She wasn't on D and D at all. Like
I don't even
it
know where
didn't
my
say
phone was.
in your back pocket like every other white girl.
I didn't have any pockets actually. It was in my purse. Actually, it was in the fanny pack. I digress.
No, at least it didn't get stolen this time.
that
Uh,
was that was rude. That was too
yeah.
personal.
Sorry about that.
No, the bouncer was reading my. Anyway, okay. Oh wait. Okay. Story time. So we're walking to the bar, right? We're walking. We're on our
Is
way,
this going on the show,
and
by the way?
this is going on the show. Yeah, and we're like the bar's like a mile away from my house, so it's not that far. And I smelled someone was barbecuing, so I was like, whoa, this is wild. There were this group of guys like on their patio, right on the main street, going to the bar, and they were just grilling some chicken. So I like looked over and I was like, hey guys, like the food smells great. You know, I'm just making conversation. They
I
go,
wonder.
do you want some chicken? Do you want a chicken wing? And I was like, I looked at my girlfriend, so I was like, do I say yes? Do I take food from strangers? They looked really nice, and I was like, I can't say no. They were offering, so I was like, yeah, can I have a chicken wing? This random group of men just reached over the fence, gave me a chicken wing. It was probably the best chicken wing I've ever had in my entire life. It was so good, and so I'm just walking to the bars with my
Holding a
girlfriends
chicken
holding a
wing.
chicken wing. Holding a chicken wing. I'll put the picture up here. We took pictures. That probably was the best day of my life. It was so funny.
Best day of her
They
life.
said to come.
She
They said to come
raged
back the
someone's
next day.
barbecue.
I did. Man's had the full on like gloves and everything. Like he was a grill master. It was professional. They're like, we're here every night, which is probably a lie, but I'll probably go back tonight and see if they're still there. Free food, man. Free food.
Yeah, imagine I did.
Hmm.
I'd have a restraining order on me.
You would. You would. Not handing out free food to random girls on the streets. I find human contact
I didn't say
repulsive.
I was going to hand
Anyway,
out free food. I was going to say I was going to go ask for free food.
oh, you would get turned away. You would for
Yeah.
sure get turned away. Anyways, okay.
Anyway,
back to the NBA.
Western Conference Finals. Look, you were out wine Wednesdaying with the girls. I was whining on a Wednesday about the Rangers and flipping back between basketball games. I'm not going to get too much into hockey. That's another time. So we'll talk about the Western Conference Finals that I basically watched last night. And I wanted to touch on something interesting that I read before the game started, and the box score pretty much put this to rest. It was an article that basically said, who's going to guard Luca on defensive switches or when Jaden McDaniels comes off the floor for the Wolves? And they were like, well, is it naturally going to be Anthony Edwards? I want you to pull up, or I'm going to pull up for you. Actually, really quick. You don't have to do this. I'm going to pull up.
I'm ready. Okay.
The box score of the minute of the game last night. The backcourt for Dallas went absolutely bonkers. It died down a little bit in the second half. Luka and Kyrie combined for 63 points. Both shot about 50%. Luka was cold from 3, shot 3 of 10. Kyrie didn't make 1 3. But Anthony Edwards said, literally on live TV, Kyrie's mine. After they beat Denver, and then the picture of him surfaces on the internet and social media of him in a Chipotle uniform, and Kyrie goes and gives him white rice, black beans, double steak, double chicken, cheese, mild, medium, hot, and guac, and queso. Jaden McDaniels had an amazing game, by the way. Jaden McDaniels was 9 of 15, had 24 points.
He's had an amazing postseason just in general.
I actually didn't really follow Jaden McDaniels that closely up until like the playoffs started. He's really good. He's really good, Jaden McDaniels. Anthony Edwards had an okay game. He took 16 shots, 12 of which were threes. If you're Anthony Edwards and you're being guarded by Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, I think you have to attack the basket a little more than that. Derek Lively was a plus 19.
Jeez.
Led both teams in plus minus. He had 11 rebounds. He was 4-4 from the field, 2 blocks. Derek Lively was unbelievable for them last night. The Dallas bench was just my guy Dante Exum was a +1 with zeros across the board. By the way, I love Dante Exum. I've loved Dante Exum since he got drafted. Dante Exum was a +1 and a 0 everywhere else. I love that man. I saw him draw an offensive foul, and I stood up and said, "Hell yeah!" I love Dante Exum. So, I have no vested interest in this series other than Dante Exum, and I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan. So I'm not trying to root for anyone here. But remember last week when I talked about Karl Towns?
Mm-hmm.
Karl Towns is 6 of 20 last night, 2 of 9 from 3.
No. No
What are we
way.
doing? What are we doing, Kat?
No, what are we doing?
What's going on? Hey, Carl, what's going on, dude?
I'm talking to you
Just
again. He's not listening to the podcast. That's why he's not getting the notes.
um, look,
Luca only had 6 points in the second half. Or not Luca. No,
yes,
Kyrie only had 6 points
Kyrie.
in the second
I said
half.
Kyrie died down a little bit in the second half. I want to say,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think Luca took over the second half.
Uh-huh.
PJ Washington's a really good player. Like, my God, and I understand where this energy comes from. Like, he came from Charlotte. Anywhere from Charlotte's an upgrade, right? Unless they send you to Detroit.
Yeah.
So, like, look, he's just enjoying the ride right now. I mean, he's having fun. I really think a huge key to this series, though, is off the Wolves bench is Nas Reed and Nikhil Alexander Walker. I really have liked those players for a lot of time now. Nas Reed's unbelievable shooting big. Like, the Wolves have really good shooting bigs, right? Minus
100%.
minus Rudy Gobert. So
And
that's what
Cat,
things.
obviously.
Also, yes, the Wolves also were 4-1 against Dallas in their last 5 matchups.
Just looking at the box score, it really looks like just Jaden McDaniels was the only one who showed up last night for the Wolves, I would say. And I mean,
Yeah.
the fact
Your
that
boyfriend respected you. Anthony Edwards decided to take the night off because he didn't watch.
I know. He knew. He knew I wasn't there. And he was like, well, it's not worth playing at all if Megan's not watching, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, halftime. Halftime. This is where we're bringing the lifestyle aspect, except this time, this is probably the topic I've been most excited to debate because it's something that I hold very close to home. We are going to argue about the best time zone to watch sports. And specifically, I want to do football Sundays. Let's do football
argument.
Sundays. It's an argument, 100%.
It's Eastern time. It's Eastern time.
It's Western. Okay. Hold on. Let me paint a picture. It's the NFL season. We're coming up on 2024 NFL season. It's a Sunday. You wake up around 9 a.m. You wake up around 9 a.m. You're like, wow, today's the best day ever because I just get to sit on the couch and watch 7 hours of commercial-free football. Be done by 5 p.m. You can then make dinner and go to bed at a reasonable hour. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, I don't want to have to wake up and wait till 1 p.m. to start watching football. It starts at 10 a.m.
You're missing out on some of the best aspects of it. I'm going to get into this.
Elaborate.
It's a science. Okay. Let's say you're a morning person. For everyone listening, she's up and all caps texting me good morning. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at my phone. What? At 10:30.
7 a.m. my time. 10
Still
unemployed.
10 time. I'm unemployed until next week, by the way. So next week I'll be back.
And I have 3 jobs. And I'm still here. I still showed up.
She's counting this as her job. This is something she voluntarily signed up for, by the way.
I don't get paid for this yet. Please subscribe.
Yes,
I would like to quit one of my jobs. Please subscribe.
I don't want to finish law school.
Yeah.
No. So if you are like me, who's on a Sunday is going to wake up later, imagine I'm visiting you on the West Coast. I wake up and my fantasy lineups aren't set, and it's halftime already.
Set them the day before.
No, because okay, what about game time decisions?
Game time decisions? That's why I wake up at 9. And then I got plenty of time. Good.
That's great for you. Take a census survey and see what's the average time someone's waking up on a Sunday. I understand the argument. You don't want to wait. I love to be able to wake up and football's on an hour, right? When I wake up, there's a London game.
Yeah.
And I gotta watch Jags Bills at 9 in the morning. Are you kidding me?
I've woken up at 6 a.m. for those games. For the Toy Story game, my ass was up for nothing. That was a horrible game.
Anyway,
that was an awful game.
Fantasy lineups, you are at a natural disadvantage playing on the West Coast, I think. Look, 1 o'clock game. Look, you can eat lunch. What are you gonna do? Make an omelet? Well, during the first quarter.
Yeah, let me offer you something else. Have you ever done bottomless mimosas while watching 7 hours of commercial-free football?
No,
that is a vibe. That is
I'm male. I've also never had a mimosa in my life.
You never had a mimosa in your life? You're not.
That gives a little insight into my dating life, doesn't it?
It does. Also, this is staying in, by the way. I'm not cutting this out. This man the other day, he texts me. He goes, "I'm drinking Malibu right now," and I was like, "Sir, you realize that Malibu is 20%, right?"
This didn't happen.
So what? He was voluntarily drinking Malibu, thinking it was a 40% out. It's 20%. That is 40 proof, my guy.
I didn't say 40%.
40 proof.
I thought bottles of that. It tastes good. Malibu Coke Zero for anyone
You
who's
are so
legal drinking age.
soft. Oh yeah, no, this is a 21
It's
plus segment. I swear. I mean, I did get my license
I'm
stolen
not
the other day, but
I'm
I
not
have a paper
only
license.
drinking that. I won't get a buzz off that. I'm saying when I'm like feeling good, that's what I'll drink. It allows me to coast. It maintains the feeling.
Coast, pun intended. You're soft. You're soft.
It maintains the feeling. If I'm pre-gaming, I'm not drinking a Malibu Coke Zero.
Yes,
That's
he
not even
is. He's lying.
okay. I may be
Women love to
lying.
lie. Okay. Wait,
Look,
I would like the people to comment. All of our 27 subs comment who you think has it better when it comes to football Sundays, the East Coast or the West Coast, because
I didn't
we're
finish what I
today's
was
episode.
arguing.
What?
I didn't even get into the second part of my argument. You
We
just
got
cut me off
20
about
minutes.
Malibu. I know
We
you're
got
pretty
20
okay.
minutes.
This will take me 30 seconds if you keep your
This
mouth
is
shut.
my job is to keep us moving because you won't
I
shut
know.
up.
Okay, all I was gonna say is bedtime with Sunday Night Football is elite. Watching
Uh-huh.
the second half of Sunday Night Football in the dark in bed
Okay.
is awesome. I love that.
Okay. I am the
You don't care.
opposite. I
You don't
love
care.
having the night game on at 5 p.m. I love
Yep,
it.
you
It's
don't care.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
You
I'm
don't
not
care.
even getting into Mondays. Okay, that's enough of our halftime segment. That will go on forever.
No,
Now,
no adjustments were made.
let's
We're revisiting that
no
next week, by the
adjustment.
way.
Let's get into our first actual NFL segment. I am so stoked for. So today we're going to talk about and debate our top 5 QBs 25 and under. So not under 25, 25 and under. Want to go back and forth and do 1 through 5 or 5 to 1?
No, give me your 5, and I'm gonna give you my 5 because if we just go back and forth, it's never gonna end.
Okay. Do you want my
You
analysis
know,
with it or just list them off?
list them off. I'll list them off, and then I want to see where we align.
Okay. Okay. So 1 to 5. And this is kind of the
This,
idea behind this is like who would we want to like structure a team around?
oh yeah,
Okay.
this is who 25 and younger, including players
Mhm.
25 years old, who
Mhm.
you would start a franchise with right now if you were given the chance to start a franchise with. Does not take into account contract, anything like that.
Mhm.
Who you were starting a franchise with, quarterback 25 and younger. Go.
Amazing. Okay. I think number 1 is a no-brainer. CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's an absolute dog. I love that man. Okay. Number 2, Caleb Williams. Number 3, Trevor Lawrence. 4, my man Jordan Love. 5, Anthony Richardson. Those are my 5.
Wow, you went Anthony Richardson?
I did go Anthony Richardson. I'm very high on Anthony Richardson. Very, very high on him.
Okay. We have a lot of the same list, but I'm all over the place with order.
Okay, let me hear it.
I think Trevor Lawrence is my number 1.
No way.
Trevor Lawrence
Okay.
is my number 1.
Okay.
CJ Stroud is my number 2.
Okay.
Justin Herbert's my number 3.
He's 26.
He's 25.
Wrong. He's 26. Check the dates.
I checked last night.
Nah, he's 26.
So
How
now I'm going to look
old
like an
is
idiot on my own show.
Justin Herbert? He's 26. I'm keeping this in. Matt was wrong.
Now I'm going to look like an absolute ignorant.
Dumbass. Check the facts.
Yeah. I did. Blame
Nuts.
StatMuse.
Nuts.
Sorry.
You know what's funny is I had him in my list, double checked last night, purposefully did not text you knowing you had him in your list so that I could make sure you were wrong on the show. This is awesome. This is such a dub.
Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, no longer Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, and I didn't have. It was going to be. This changes my list now. It was going to be Jalen Hurts 5, and Caleb Williams was an honorable mention because he hasn't played a snap.
Yeah.
And now it's Anthony Richardson who's an honorable mention. Going off that list,
you could put Brock Purdy if you want. You could add him to your list.
I'm not putting anywhere near starting a franchise. Not unless I build the rest of the team before.
And then he just gets subbed in.
Sorry, Prairie Boy. I don't want Jalen Hurts anywhere near this list. I'm not starting Jalen Hurts. But go ahead. Where do we go?
I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence. I was even contemplating putting him at 4 and putting Jordan Love above him. Why would you give me your reasonings for wanting to start around Trevor Lawrence?
He's the second coming. I understand he had a little bit of a down year last year. But I mean, that's like he's the greatest prospect maybe ever. He's still young enough to be counted as a prospect, right? He's gonna get paid.
Mhm.
He's gonna be the number one paid quarterback in the league, probably. Like quarterback is a position that's very close to me because it's the one position in football that I could have played, given my stature and athleticism.
'Cause God gave you one
And
arm, and that is it.
yeah, and if I wasn't fat, I definitely could have played quarterback. He makes such hard things look easy, and sometimes he makes easy things look hard. I will concede that sometimes he will just make boneheaded mistakes or miss an errant throw on a slant or an easy dig route or something like that. And I just feel like there's no way we're talking like this about him in another 3 years. Like I feel like it's totally he's a victim of circumstance in Jacksonville. There's like a black cloud still over that franchise. It's just one of those franchises that's destined to be mid. Does that make sense? Like there's just
Yeah,
teams that are
yeah,
just never good. Like you just
yeah.
feel like they're like it's even weird with the Lions being good. You know what I mean? Because the Lions have been
That
bad for
is
my whole life.
that's a whole different conversation,
Yeah,
especially,
but I'm just saying
in
like
being
there's
in the
teams that
NFC North.
you just think of that you just like expect to be bad, no matter how
Mhm.
long they've been rebuilding, no matter who they sign, no matter who they draft. It's just like, eh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially going
So,
from, winning a playoff game and then not even making the playoffs last season. I think that is, dare
yeah,
I say, embarrassing. That may be too negative
I
of a connotation, but
I purposely did not pull up any numbers from Trevor Lawrence, because I know he had a down year last year, and it would have argued against me. I know that.
mhm. I have
I
the numbers
sound
if you want me to list them off.
ridiculous. If you want to argue against me, go ahead. But I purposely did not choose them because I felt they'd only hinder my argument. And since I go to school to learn how to argue, I'm
That
actually
is
not
why
going
we
to back
started
it
this
up. I'm not going to back it up
podcast.
with any evidence. I'm
You're just
going
gonna
off
be right
pure vibes,
already.
pure quarterback energy. No, look, Trevor,
He likes him because of his haircut.
I actually hate his hair.
Okay,
I said,
eh,
I think he should cut his hair.
dude,
Yeah, I don't,
I can't even imagine that man with short hair. There's no way. I've been watching, let me say this. I shout out to Megan Soares if you're listening. Love that girl. We watched Trevor Lawrence when we were 16 during the Nike Elite 11. I've been following this man since I was 16 and like you said, one of the best, I mean, I think Caleb Williams is the best quarterback prospect. That's why I have him as number 2. But the thing about Trevor Lawrence is he's been in the league for what, 3-4 years now, injured last season, has everything in his toolbox to be an elite quarterback, top 5, top 6 maybe, possibility. He doesn't have any weapons around him. The only person that he had that could get any separation last season was Calvin Ridley, and
they
even
had no
he did
chemistry.
not. He had no
They had zero
chemistry.
chemistry.
It was nuts. I mean, you could say Ingram played well, I would say. Probably you could consider him,
He learned how to catch.
receiver 1
Don't
on
get me
that
started
team.
on Evan Ingram. Don't get me started on Evan Ingram.
Okay, I won't. He was on
We're
my
giant.
fantasy team and did wonders for me. Um, and this is why I have Trevor Lawrence third is because he's very poised in the pocket. So I would love like if you're talking about rebuilding a team and you don't have your O line set, you want someone who's poised in the pocket. Like you said, he makes hard things look easy. He's very aggressive. He ranked 12th in air yards per attempt last year. He averaged 8 yards per attempt last year. But he's very turnover prone. He had 14 interceptions last season and he didn't even play every game. I
That's
think
fine.
why? How is that fine?
Why? I think okay. I'm not gonna get into this super a lot, but it's the
Mhm.
gun shy versus gunslinger argument. I'd rather have a young quarterback who can make mistakes, who's willing to make those mistakes, rather than someone who's scared. Because you cannot teach that. It's so much harder to get rid of an instinct of to not test something than it is to look. It is a lot easier to say, "Hey, don't throw in this situation," than it is to say, "Throw in this situation," because there's a mental block impacting it. I see it with Daniel Jones. That it's why I think Sam Darnold had a bad start to his career because he had that same gunslinger mentality. If he had it coached the right way, and the Jets are a coaching mess, I don't think he'd be this carousel quarterback right now. Although apparently I'm reading bad things about Sam Darnold, like regarding football IQ and stuff. But Trevor Lawrence doesn't have those football IQ problems. I think Trevor Lawrence, if you are able to hone the gunslinger tendencies and make that a strength rather than a weakness, that only raises your ceiling. Look at Peyton Manning's interception numbers his first 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but then I just in this argument, like I way rather have CJ Stroud. I way rather have CJ Stroud. He took a franchise who's been notoriously bad for the past however many years with young receivers besides Nico Collins, who actually I think he had like 400 receiving yards last year and had 1,200 this year, 1,100. I'd have to correct the stat, but CJ Stroud carried that offense 1,000%, and he made them. Tank Dell was a
Stroud,
dog, you know.
I don't have any arguments against CJ Stroud. Stroud is literally, he's probably on any other time that I don't have to actually create content to argue with, I'm going to take CJ Stroud. But I needed to create some interaction here, so I chose
Fair
Trevor
enough.
Lawrence because I needed some parity. I have nothing bad. I can't argue anything. CJ Stroud is unbelievable. I love him. He's probably one of my favorite players in the league right now, if not
Mhm.
my favorite. Um, yeah, it would just matter how I woke up feeling if I wanted to choose a franchise with them. I'm not going to argue that at all. There's no debate there, and there's
Fair
no
enough.
debate
Okay.
with you with Jordan Love either. I love
Well, do you
Jordan
want
Love.
me to get into Okay, well, let's get into
You
that.
can if you want. Yeah,
I would love to. I would love
go
to.
ahead.
Okay, so
That's your guy. That's your quarterback.
we're gonna agree with CJ Stroud is gonna be number one. We're putting him there
Fine.
because it sounds like we agree
I'll let
there.
it go.
Okay. Okay. So just 5 interceptions, which was nuts to have only 5 picks your rookie season. Anyway, I just need to throw that in there.
And he's a
I did put
gunslinger. It's not gun shy. He just doesn't turn the ball
it.
over.
He also had I will give him the argument that he had good receivers versus Trevor Lawrence had no one to help him out. Okay, Jordan Love. Jordan Love obviously started off this so he's not a rookie, but it was his first year starting. I have so many bones to pick with Jordan Love because at the end of the day, I think he has so much potential and he showed that the last 8 games of the season. I mean, he was one of the top 3 best quarterbacks, I would say, the second half of the season. He had the most passing yards of all quarterbacks. He only had 1 pick in the last 8 games. Had the second best passer rating at 112 and the second most touchdowns. He had 18 in the second half of the season. So, if we're talking about second half of the season, Jordan Love, I think the sky is the limit for this guy. But this goes right into your argument about the gunslinger versus gun shy. That man has the same turnover ratio, I think, as Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is a different conversation because I have some things about him that I don't like about his ability to handle the ball. But anyways,
See,
I go. You give me your points.
well, no, Jordan Love's you're a Packers fan. If people didn't
Yeah.
know that, like you
Oh
love
yeah,
the
I'm a
Packers
Packers fan.
for,
Mhm.
for some weird reason. I don't remember why you told me. That's not important right now. Jordan Love showed me everything I wanted to see out of a quarterback who pretty much had like a redshirted. What is it? Wasn't he redshirted for like 2 years already? Like this, that was like a third year
Packers
in the
have the
league yet
same
last year, right?
system. Draft a
Yeah.
guy, have him sit behind.
Um, I they know what they're doing. I liked him coming out of school. And when I saw he got to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, that's perfect for him. I'll tell you what, Jordan Love actually made me feel better about Matt LaFleur because I was never sold on Matt LaFleur. With Rodgers, obviously look at how Nathaniel Hackett paired as a head coach and an offensive coordinator, right? Like that. Aaron Rodgers completely just gave that guy a job for no reason. Matt LaFleur he belongs. He's a good coach. And I wasn't certain. Um, the turnovers with Jordan Love don't bother me that much because it feels like Jordan Love with Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen was surrounded at this point by veterans. He's throwing to Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Knox. He had Kincaid as a rookie, so whatever. But I mean, you have Singletary, who's at this point what a 4th-year running back. And Josh Allen's been in the league 5 years. You get what you get. You know what you're getting with Josh Allen. You're gonna get crazy plays, and you're also gonna get boneheaded arm punts when you shouldn't arm punt. But Jordan Love is growing at the same time as his rookie receivers, right? It's like it's very rare you see that nucleus get to grow at the same time. So they really should all have a boom at the same time, right? And half of them, Christian Watson gets hurt every 5 plays. His hamstring's made of wet paper
Paper.
bags. Yeah.
Literally.
Dobbs is cool. I love me some Dontavian Wicks. He owes me money, by the
Dude,
way. Classmate of
Jaden
mine knows
Reed
him.
is my
Jaden,
guy.
yeah,
I
there.
love Jaden
I
Reed.
love that. Yeah. So look, I don't think those turnovers should bother you. I think
Mhm.
you should be very like the Packers overachieved last year. They won a playoff
100%.
game, right?
100%. Yeah. Dude, they
Yeah.
routed the Cowboys. They didn't just win
Yeah.
a playoff
I
game.
just wanted to hear you say it.
Mhm.
I just love. Yeah, we both hate Dallas.
I hate the Cowboys.
So look, I have no qualms, no
Mhm.
problems, no quarrel with Jordan Love picking him where we are.
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't really have an argument. I just wanted to touch on. I think you should just careful. You don't worry so much about the turnovers with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the main reason why I am a little bit iffy about those turnovers is because I was watching some film on literally just his turnovers yesterday, and the majority of them, I would say probably 75% of them, were 100% his fault. That could have been avoided if, but it's just
What
reps. It's
happens?
just reps. He's not
What
poised in the pocket.
what happens?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can
And that's what I'm
it's
saying.
growing
Like,
pains.
yeah, we're talking about starting a franchise and building a franchise, and I think he will
Yeah.
get there. I think the best thing you could do is progress like he did in the second half of the season. I'm very stoked to see. This team's so young. I'm so stoked to see where they are. And at least, he's not Daniel Jones. That was a stray. Okay, Anthony Richardson. Anthony
I
Richardson.
didn't even react to that. I couldn't care less what you thought
So
about him.
over it. Did you have Richardson on your list or not at all?
I said an honorable mention once you threw a fork in my Justin Herbert.
Okay, yeah, because you're a
I
dumbass.
like Anthony Richardson. I just wouldn't choose him yet over Hurts just based off resume. I'd choose him over Hurts based on playability. I don't think Hurts is good.
Richardson
People gonna
is
if we had more viewers,
a
I get torched. Hopefully people come
Richardson
back to
is
this.
the definition of a project. He only has around 270 completions since high school.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
including college.
he's
He
an
is a
athlete.
project guy.
He's an
Yeah, yeah,
athlete.
he's a freak. He's a freak, 100%. I mean, he had in that one game, I think I can't remember. It was week 4, 3 total touchdowns, 56 rushing yards, I think 200 air yards, something like that.
It
And then,
sucks that he
his
got
elbow,
concussed.
dude, his arm, he was concussed and then his shoulder exploded in week
Yeah.
5. I think, and that is my biggest knock on him, which again, growing pains, they'll figure it out, is they need to
Yeah, I
find the
know.
right balance between letting the running quarterback do his thing and scramble. But he needs to figure out how to finish when he does
Part
scramble
of the
like
game.
that. Like, slide, bro, slide. Just
You
get
gotta
down to the
teach these
ground.
kids how to slide. They have to teach these
Dude,
kids how
get
to
down
slide.
to the ground. My goodness.
I'm send them to the baseball field for a day, please.
Legit.
Teach
100%.
these kids how to slide. It
100%.
will
They
save
are.
years on it.
I'm surprised Justin Fields' legs haven't exploded yet. Like, honestly, I mean, that's a different
What are you-
conversation.
Jesus Christ.
That's a different conversation.
You
But
had
yeah,
Caleb.
Anthony Richardson.
I was gonna
I
keep
had
going.
him
No,
too.
finish.
Oh, yeah, I just
You
want to
didn't even
say
talk about that.
overall about Anthony Richardson is he has the arm talent. He has obviously the leg skills. I think they need to help him out with more weapons on the outside, but I don't even know. I think
They
he's
gave him
practicing
Adonai Mitchell.
OTAs actually. What'd you say?
They gave him They drafted Adonai Mitchell out of
Oh, yeah.
Texas.
Okay. Yeah. I think he's
Yeah, they're on
practicing
the
in
up.
OTAs, so he should be
The
good to
Colts are
go.
one of those teams that I think is the league is better when they're good, by the way.
Mhm. That's an interesting take.
Anyway, the last one, I'm not
Mhm.
getting into Jalen Hurts. I could go on for 3 hours about Jalen
I
Hurts.
think he's a fraud, and that's all I'll say about Jalen
Let's
Hurts.
go! I knew I picked the
Mhm.
right co-host.
Yeah, I think he's
So
a
you
fraud.
picked Caleb as 2. I picked him as an honorable mention just because he
Yes.
hasn't played a snap.
Yes.
Although
Which is so fair.
I'm fine with you taking him at 2 because he should be great. And I also think he's
Mhm.
going to be a beneficiary of a circumstance. We're not going to get to see
1000%.
him with bad skill players because he's now got loaded
1000%.
skill players, right? So
Talk about building a
um,
franchise around your incoming
yeah,
quarterback. I mean, they did everything they can to help him.
I do want to say he didn't make my list. He would have been an honorable mention if I had extra honorable mentions. Bryce Young. I do like Bryce Young. I'm not
Okay.
out on Bryce Young at all.
Okay.
I'm not out on Bryce Young at all. I think he'll be fine.
I think he also is, unfortunately, in an awful situation.
Yeah,
I think
it's whatever.
the height thing is a different
I don't have a problem with
conversation.
height.
I think it's honestly me either because gosh, I hate using Russell Wilson as an example, but I think they're the same height. And guess what they did in Seattle? They got him offensive tackles that were a little bit shorter so that he could see over them. So I
don't
think
like comparing. I don't like comparing just on height anyway, because they always did Russell Wilson to Drew. Look, just be your own player. Bryce Young,
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good
Yeah.
quarterback. He'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah. Already.
Make all the
Okay.
throws.
I think we agreed pretty much on that. We don't really need to say anything about Caleb Williams because everyone knows the glazing that can happen, mini Mahomes and whatnot.
It will be. It will happen when you get into football season.
It will happen.
God,
It will happen
I
eventually.
I can't wait.
Okay. Well, to round out this podcast, we are going to do Matt's Minute. Matt, your time starts now.
The Miami Heat's fan base could not give it 3 days until after the Knicks the amount of garbage I've seen on Twitter about Heat fans saying the Cavs want Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez in a possible deal for Donovan Mitchell. Let me start by saying there was an article where the Cavs said that Dan Gilbert would not trade Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers, and that he listed Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez as possible players he would like in a deal. Fan accounts ran with this as Dan Gilbert saying, "I want these guys for Donovan Mitchell." That's not what happened. That's not what happened. No one wants them. But those are your only tradable assets. And Tyler Hero's not even an asset. He's a hindrance. I know I have 5 seconds. I'm going to get into this more next week. But good God,
You're done. Shut up.
Piss me off.
Shut up. You're done. That's enough. Do you feel better?
Not really, because I was like,
Probably
edging
worse.
for a minute.
Alrighty, okay. We've been yapping for an hour now. That's all we have today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, our DMs are open if you want to suggest any more ideas.
Yes, please, mailbag.
Yeah, mailbag, please hit us up. Tell your friends. Again, I have 3 jobs and I would like to quit one of them. So please subscribe and smash that like button.
And I'd like to be able to pay for law school.
Yeah, or drop out, one of the 2. Alrighty, Matt has an interview, so we're gonna get out of here. Once again, thanks for watching Coast to Coast.